Hello everybody and welcome to week 5 of the NFL season. Today we're going to be doing a first look lineup. We will be going over position by position and my just initial thoughts. I have not looked at any players yet. I'm going to give out what I think are some of the good plays of the slate early on. So without further ado, let's get into the slate. So starting at the top, we have Kyler Murray going against San Francisco. Right now, Kyler Murray is the lead candidate to be MVP. He always has to be in consideration every week. With Trey Lance starting for the 49ers, it could turn into a complete shootout. Trey Lance loves to sling the ball. We'll get to him in a little bit. Tom Brady, way too expensive. Let's see here. Aaron Rodgers, nah. Jalen Hurts is putting up crazy fantasy numbers every week going against Carolina. He's starting to get kind of pricey with players like Dak cheaper. I'll probably go elsewhere. So right now, Kyler's the only quarterback I like over 7K. I like Dak still under 7K. He should be always in the 7,000 range, I think. Herbert going against Cleveland. I have a little interest. Daniel Jones is getting pricey, but he's played so well this year. Like, look at it. Look at this. He's had 22, 29, 16, and 30. He's rushing the ball, like his floor for rushing is almost like a passing touchdown, and then he's still throwing the ball a lot. And he did that against the Saints, who the Saints have a really good defense with like no Sterling Shepard, no Darius Slayton. He had like no weapons, and he still kind of balled out. And going against the Cowboys, which that game could be a sneaky shootout. I don't know. I have a little interest in Daniel Jones there. I do actually like Lawrence a little bit against Tennessee. Tennessee's defense, we just saw even Zach Wilson kind of was brought to life. Trevor Lawrence also has sneaky rushing upside, so I do have a little bit of interest in Trevor Lawrence. Now, okay, Trey Lance at 5,700. It looks like they already priced him up. They knew everyone was probably going to play him if they priced him in the low 5,000. If he starts, I'm just going to plug him into the first look lineup right now. He rushes the ball. Like he played 2 quarters after Garoppolo was out, and he had 20 fantasy points. He had 157 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then 7 rushing attempts for 41. Like, I love Trey Lance was like my favorite rookie quarterback coming into this year. He just slings the ball all over the field. He runs all the time. He just is a great fantasy player, and I think a real life quarterback. Okay, but let me make sure here. So, Lawrence, Winston, Mayfield, Jimmy G, Mac Jones. I guess if you're going to the cheaper options, Jared Goff at 5,300 going against Minnesota, which Jared Goff is having to throw the ball so much every single game. And look, he's 5,300. He's met value 3 out of 4 games for like a cash game. I wouldn't really play him in tournaments because he doesn't have a lot of upside, but in cash games he's in consideration. But right now Trey Lance is probably the best quarterback play in my opinion. Let's go into running back. Derrick Henry going against Jacksonville. He's now at 9,000, but I mean, he just gets the ball so often. It's ridiculous. Like, look at this, another 33, 28 rushing attempts, 35, and he gets like a floor of 2 targets a game. If they get him even slightly more involved in the passing game, I mean, he's just like a must-have almost. But in years past, I've usually liked to fade Henry, but the second he's starting to get more involved in the passing game, he's like the best fantasy running back probably in a long time. Kamara he didn't even get a target last week, and it's hard to rush the ball against Washington. I'll go elsewhere. Dalvin Cook against Detroit. If he's actually, they say he's a full go. He only got like half the snaps this past week. If he's a full go, if you're telling me Dalvin Cook against Detroit, who I know has a bunch of target volume, and he can still get 25 plus carries, I'd rather have Dalvin over Henry. But if he's going to be limited again, I just go to Derrick Henry. So here's what we'll do. I like Dalvin more if he's healthy, so I'm going to put Dalvin in. Saquon is right back to his old self. I mean, 13 carries, 6 targets. Previous game, 16 carries, 7 targets. I mean, and the Saints have one of the best rush defenses, and he just went for 30 fantasy points. At 7,300, I'm going to have a little interest in Saquon. Okay, Chubb It's finally under 7,000. That's the only time I ever really considered Chubb to play. The Chargers give nothing to the passing game. Like we saw Derek Carr, Dak Prescott, Mahomes all struggle. The Chargers aren't going to let Baker do much of anything. The Browns are like the best rushing team in like the league with that duo of Hunt and Chubb. So I just think this is a very good matchup for the Browns. So I will probably sprinkle in a little Chubb for the first time this year here. Robinson is, if like Hyde is out again, I'll probably have some interest in Robinson, but if Hyde's in, I don't have interest. Montgomery is out for like 4 to 6 weeks. That makes, where's Damien Williams? Okay, at 5,600, but now Damien Williams is questionable. What's wrong with him? A thigh bruise. Okay, well, if Damien Williams is just like the complete lead back against the Raiders, I'll take Damien Williams in this first look lineup. Let me make sure there's no other good plays here that I like. Pollard, Harris, Madison, Gordon. No. Nobody down here. Sermon got all the carries this past week, but he just got nothing in the passing game. I'll probably sprinkle in a little bit of Sermon, but he's like the only running back in this like 5,000 or lower range I like. And Damien Williams is probably the only 5,000 running back I like. Yeah. So I'm probably going to be playing $5,600 or more for all my running back slots this week. Okay, so let's go into the wide receiver. Devonta Adams against Cincinnati. I mean, Devonta's a play every single week with the target share he gets. He has like a 35 or 40% target share with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback. Cincy defense has been decent, but this is just a volume play. I'll put him in the first look here, but let's see. Jefferson against Detroit. Jefferson's a complete stud. He's definitely a play. DJ Moore been balling out. Besides Tyreek Hill, who kind of went off, the Eagles have been decent with like keeping the ball in front of them and not giving up a whole lot to receivers. So I don't know. I like DJ Moore, but he's a little pricey now at $7,500. Debo, in tournaments, I'll be stacking a lot of Trey Lance to Debo, Trey Lance to Ayuk, and Trey Lance to Kittle because I love Trey Lance this week. So yeah, at 7,100, he is pretty pricey, but I'll have some Debo this week. Lamb and Cooper are getting pretty cheap here. Well, first, this is what we always do. We always throw in the cheap defense because that's who you're going to play every week in cash games. You never spend up a defense. So there's Jacksonville, Philly, Washington. In the first look, I mean, Jacksonville against Tennessee, like there's so few weapons on the Titans right now that it's just the Jaguars could get you could get 4 or 5 points out of defense and you're fine. It's a cash game. In tournaments, you can spend up, and I'll get into more defenses in a second, but I just want to fill in this roster. Okay, let's see tight end. I want to wait to see what to do with these last 2 receiver positions to see how the tight end spot is. So Waller, always a great play. Kittle, I like Kittle a lot, and if he's questionable, that'll probably make him lower owned, but I love Kittle this week. Hawkinson against Minnesota, great matchup. No interest in Gronk, Goddard, Fant, no. Oh man, I don't really like anybody down here. Evan Ingram at 3,200. Dallas has been giving up production to the tight end position, so I do like Evan Ingram. Look like his first 2 games back, he has 6 targets in each game. That's pretty good for cheap tight end. So I'm gonna plug in Evan Ingram. I don't think there's nobody else. It's pretty bad the tight end this year. So yeah, I'll go Evan Ingram in this first look lineup. So that means we have about 5,600 remaining to spend. Definitely gonna need to find, let's see, like a cheap receiver that we can go with. Where's Curtis Samuel? Curtis Samuel was 3,000 last week, and if he's still super cheap, okay. Curtis Samuel at 3,000. Lattimore should be on McLaurin. That'll open things up for Samuel. Samuel was kind of limited in his first game back, but we know his talent. He's a very good player, and I mean at 3,000, he's a very, very good play. I'll put Curtis Samuel in this lineup. That also allows us to spend up at these last two spots. So actually, we might be able to jam in Derrick Henry, because I didn't like Derrick Henry and Dalvin. Okay, yeah, I like this. And then 4,800 left to spend. If Justin Fields plays, I would probably put Mooney in this first look lineup. But I think they said Nagy is such an idiot. He's going back to Dalton. I don't know why you do that with your rookie quarterback that you spent high draft capital on. I don't know if he's trying to get fired or what, but I think you should just let the rookie go and see what he can do. And I like Mooney more if Fields plays, but if not, I'll probably go... I think I'm going to go Jalen Waddle. Tampa has a terrible pass defense right now. I think they'll be throwing the ball a lot. I think Waddle is a good play here. So this right here is just like a first look lineup. It'll definitely change by the end of the week. And in the next few videos I post this week, we'll go into, good stacks to make for tournaments and lower owned plays for tournaments. But for cash games, this is just like an initial first look lineup. So I hope that video helped you out, kind of just get an initial skeleton of a lineup going, and then build out from there as we get more injury news and news in general throughout the rest of the week. Please leave a like and subscribe, leave a comment, it helps out the channel a ton, and I'll see you tomorrow for the Thursday Night Football Showdown slate. Thanks for watching, see you tomorrow.